Recently, Chinese Ambassador Zhu Fihong said that India and China achieved remarkable development in the last few decades because of their hard work, not due to the generosity of others. And he rejected all the claims that outside factors and powers fueled Beijing's economic rise. Basically, his remarks are largely seen as a rebuttal to recent remarks by US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau, who recently characterized past US economic support for China as a mistake that US is not going to do with New Delhi. On this, Chinese ambassador take a wild dig at the US. So in today's session, we are going to decode and discuss about India-China relations, recent developments, 2026, like how India-China cautiously normalizing their relations after a long time, and what are the key areas of cooperation between these two emerging economies. Youth led engagement between India and China, the diplomatic thaw after years of tension, with emerging opportunities in the field of artificial intelligence, digital economy, and the green technology. So, the first thing is that state of ties cautious normalization. As you know, guys, after the Galwan Valley incident, which is also known as the Battle of Galwan, was a violent and direct clash between Indian and Chinese troops in Ladakh's Galwan Valley in the month of June 2020, which resulting in the first deadly conflict in 45 years or in the history of India China relations. Using sticks, stones, and clubs instead of firearms, 20 Indian soldiers, including Colonel Santosh Babu, and I think everyone may remember his name, were killed alongside an undisclosed numbers of Chinese troops. That particular incidents intensified border tensions as well as diplomatic tensions between India and China. So after that, both the countries are cautiously normalizing their relations, but with gradual improvements. And if we talk about the timeline of key developments between these two countries, here you can see in January 2026, PM Modi interacted with Chinese Premier Xi Jinping in Kazan, Russia, on the sideline of BRICS, which marks the first big diplomatic reset. Again in Feb 2026, high level meetings between Xi Jinping and PM Modi held in Tianjin. And in March 2026, India eases investment norms for the Chinese investors after tighter restrictions. Along with these developments, there are several top diplomatic and ministerial level meetings took place. And there is another factor which brings India and China together. Mr. Peace President Donald Trump. Yes, due to the policies and the uncertain mindset of the President Trump, or something like ego of the Trump, forced India and China to reset their economic ties as well as diplomatic ties. Because, as you know, that Mr. Trump imposed tariffs on India as well as on China, and 50% tariffs on India, 25% reciprocal tariffs, and 25% due to we are purchasing Russian oil. And there are some specific sanctions are also imposed on Indian companies. Those are purchasing Russian oils. So all these circumstances and scenarios created an environment for India and China to reset their ties. And now, what Mr. Ambassador Zhu Fihong said about India is, is here on your screen. Message on India China relations. What he actually said, I quote, some people are unwilling to see India and China live in harmony. They deliberately amplify our differences, hype up the so called China threat, and hope to profit from discord between our two countries. In the face of a complex and changing landscape, young people should think independently and step out of the information cocoon. So, what are the key points behind this message? Let's decode. First, he basically urged the youth of China and India to engage together to counter misinformation separated by the US and the Western nations. Chinese and Indians must be come together to counter the Western hegemony. Maybe Hindi Chini bhai bhai. Again, second, positioned as a key global South player. This is, guys, basically a bitter truth. China doesn't want India to become or position itself the dominant leader of the global South. China positioned itself. And the third, call for closer coordination on developments in several emerging fields, which we will talk about in a moment. The third and the fourth point, opposition to unilateralism and protectionism, capitalist policies, and mindset of the Americans. China is basically promoting multilateralism and against protectionism policies. Nowadays, US is applying these policies in America. And JD Vance, the vice president of America, in fact, emerges as the global mouthpiece of protectionism, right? So there are some key areas where China and India are engaging together, like artificial intelligence and digital economy, China's artificial models and India AI mission alignment, green technology. China and India are working on renewable energy supplies, electric vehicle supply chain, and same related areas for cooperation. Youth exchange, people to people cultural bridges. Recently, it has been seen that China wants to build trust among the people of India, among the youth of India, among the Gen Zs of India, which it lost due to its activities and recent incidents. Hence, the people to people ties focusing on the issue. I mean, China is emphasizing people to people ties or engagements. And the strategic vision is that China and India are neighbors that cannot be moved apart. We should achieve developments through our own efforts and hard work while actively pushing mutually beneficial cooperation. And here are deep fragmentation or interface about emerging areas of cooperation. You can refer it or read it. Now, if we talk about the opportunities and challenges before us in China. So, in the key opportunities, the first big sector is tech collaboration because today's world is, dependent on technology. Today's world is of artificial intelligence, and there has been lot of advancement in cutting edge and disruptive technologies. So, we as Indians or India as a state do not want to lag behind the world in the field of advanced technology or tech collaboration. So, artificial intelligence, digital economy, and the green technology partnerships creating new growth areas for both the countries. Youth engagement, again, we talk about this a little moment ago, and the investment flow. India eases and normalize the norms for FDI for the Chinese investors and the global south. China and India currently working on joint coordination on countries, developing country interests. So these are key opportunities for both the countries, and the score is basically 75% in terms of percentage. And key challenges. What are the key challenges? First is the border tensions and the territorial disputes because neither India nor China wants to lose its territorial integrity. And here arises the conflict of interest. Right? So, border issue is the major factor. Security concerns and trust deficit. We as Indians cannot trust China blindly because China has betrayed us many times in the past. Right? And the third country intervention or interference. We don't want any third country intervention in our regional issues, in our bilateral issues like POK issue with Pakistan, and there are so many. Trade imbalances and competition. India faces a massive trade deficit with China. India's trade deficit with China reached a record high, surpassing 100 billion US dollar to nearly, I think, 102 billion US dollar between April 2025 and this year, Feb 2026, which is driven by a widening gap in manufacturing or manufactured goods. Indian India basically imports more than exports. We rely on China in various fields or sectors like electronics and telecommunication, smartphones, telecom instruments, components, machinery and capital goods. Yes, capital goods, transformers and industrial machinery, big machineries, materials like chemicals, fertilizers, plastics, and steel products also. So there are lot of sectors, right? So these are the key challenges. Now strategic outlook. So to manage competition with targeted cooperation is the likely near term path for India and China relations. And again, US and Mr. President Donald Trump is again the big factor. So this is from my side. I hope you all must have understood, and please share your opinion in the comment box and do subscribe if you are new to the channel. Like if you eat. Thank you. Have a nice day.